All right, guys, today's an exciting day.
But they were great.
You know why?
We got the grades.
We did?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Email.
Oh, yeah, that was yesterday.
You got some grades, right?
Yeah, I got
First class.
Well, today's an exciting day because we finished our story Popularity. And we get to figure out what happens to Will. Remember Will?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Tell each other what you know about Will.
Oh, Will wants to
He's
satisfied.
Yes. Hey, I mean, the story is the story needs another. I do.
All right, Minu, you remember Will? What happens to Will?
He keeps just picking up and then he goes
So you're doing well. You're on the right track. So Minu said he's picking up clovers, and he goes to.
goes to an unpopular group.
No, he's picking clovers with the unpopular group, right? Alan and Alan.
And he wants to go to the popular group and be the leader of that popular group, telling a funny story.
He said he wants to be the second most funny person.
Yeah, he said he wants to be the second funniest kid in the 4th grade. Right? And we spent some time last week going through, reading through, and picking out some possible character traits for Will. We said like bitter, immature, brave, hopeful, determined, envious, desperate, witty. Okay, now what I want to bring your attention to today is how some character traits can have an impact on the story, whereas others will not. So if you think about a story, let's think, have you all read Harry Potter? Are you familiar with Harry Potter, the movie or the book? No? Well, let's just say, it's a good example that you would know. What's a story everybody knows? You all read Wonder last year, right? So what are the characteristics of Augie? What are some of his characteristics, his character traits? Shy, scared, brave, complicated, scared and brave. But if we were to go through that again, we'd see that some of those traits impact the story, right, and become really important, and some of them do not. Okay, so we're going to try to figure that out with popularity. So our point for today is I can see how some traits matter more as the story progresses, or up here we got, I know that some traits matter more than others because they affect the rest of the story. Okay, so I'm going to read a bit just to remind you where we are. This is when Will, he crosses over, and he's outside the circle of popular kids. I returned to the group every recess. For 3 days, I stood unnoticed just outside the outer circle, waiting for my moment, for the one joke or wisecrack that would make me popular. I knew that I would only get one chance to prove myself, and that if I failed, I'd be sent back to the stages. And so, with the single-mindedness of a scientist, I listened to the jokes of the other boys, hoping to align my comic sensibilities with theirs. Now and then I found myself on the verge of saying something, but every time I opened my mouth to speak, Mitch would launch into another routine. And my moment passed, and I had to resign myself till yet another day in the dark. I did not know then that popularity has a lifespan and that Mitch's time was about to run out. So when I read this one, I'm thinking about the character traits that I've picked out already for Will. Okay? And the ones that are jumping out to me are determined and witty, right? Or smart, clever. Because there's this line in here with the single-mindedness of the scientist. Right? This makes me think he's really determined. Do you guys know what determined means? What's determined in 3? Nobody knows? Come on, magic mirror of words. What does determined mean? Is it up there?
No.
Not up there. Maybe it will be today. Determined, right? So he's eager, right? He's got a plan and he's gonna go through with it. Nothing can stop him, right? So he's determined. All right. Now, I've identified this trait that I think is pretty important. Determined. And as I read this time, I'm going to need your help. Because I want you to I want you to raise your hand when you feel that his determination or his wit, his smarts, when they have affected the story, I want you to kind of raise your hand. Right? And when you raise your hand, that's like the time you would jot something down. Okay? Are you ready? You're going to like this part. It's a sad fact of life that the clothes a child wears and how he wears them often determine his rank in school society. I knew it. Sean Owens knew it. Everyone in school knew it. So maybe it was carelessness or temporary insanity or a subconscious desire to step back into the stress-free shadows of anonymity. Oh, I can't say it. Anonymity. There it is. Into the stress-free shadows of anonymity that caused Mitch Brockman to wear a yellow shirt with a yellow pair of pants. He might have gotten away with it if I hadn't left for school the same morning, unaware that one folded cuff of my jeans was noticeably lower than the other. As it was, the two of us were on a collision course that only one of us would survive. At recess, on that fateful day, welcome back, Jim. At recess, on that fateful day, I took my customary place a foot from the popular boys, wondering if I would ever get a chance to prove myself and listen to Mitch tell another variation of his story about the Wienermobile. I pretended to enjoy this story as much as the others, while my mind strayed to a dream world where I did not have to feel so out of place. And Mitch and Sean and I were best friends. And then, with a suddenness that jarred me back to reality, Mitch Brockman, a boy who had never noticed me, never seemed to know or care that I was alive, turned to me, pointed at my uneven pants, and said, "Someone needs a ruler." Right, so he's getting teased now, right? They're looking at his pants and he's saying, "You need a ruler." This was perhaps the wittiest remark he had ever made, and I froze. With 4 words, he had devastated all my aspirations, defined me as a fool, and all but condemned me to a life of shame and obscurity. I could see my future, my boyhood itself, crumbling to dust, and as I heard the laughter and felt the heat of the spotlight upon me, I pointed to Mitch's yellow pants and shirt and said, "Someone else needs a mirror. You look like a canary." Then, with the grace of a magician's assistant, I raised my left arm in a presentational gesture and said, "Boys, I give you Tweety Bird. You guys know Tweety Bird?
Oh, the white bird.
The yellow bird. Come on, you know Tweety Bird.
Oh.
Is it like an app thing?
Is the Looney Tune.
No, I
Yeah,
thought-
yeah.
Or,
I thought it
or
was like an app.
you know Tweety Bird, right, Mr. Carroll?
Sylvester the cat and Tweety Bird. Right.
So, turn and talk. What just happened?
Someone stand up, tease himself. And so he's happy, like, made a Like what? It also has a reflection.
Now look, what I asked you guys to raise your hand when this trait has an effect on the story. Nobody raised their hand. A little disappointed. Inside I was raising my hand. Now I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. So we said that he's determined, right? But what I saw in this section, right, I saw Mitch kind of tease Will about the cuffs on his pants. And then, what does Will do?
Reflection.
He teases him right back, right? He tells him he looks like a canary. Canary's the yellow bird. Tweety Bird.
I saw canary or someone else.
Wow.
So, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. But what I'm starting to see here is that this determined trait is kind of turning into, draw an arrow here, he's becoming a bit ruthless. Because what he did, he wants to be popular, right? So what he did here is he hurt someone else to be popular. Right? So let's see what happens. And it was all over. As the volume of the laughter doubled, Mitch seemed to vanish. And that day, on that playground, Sean Owens' laughter was heard for the first time. In an instant, Mitch Brockman became Tweety Bird. And I, an absolute non-entity, became somebody. And then somebody special. Someone to seek out, someone to follow. Sean Owens' first jester and best friend. The entire transformation was complete in a matter of months. During this time, Mitch became a less and less vocal part of the group, telling fewer and fewer stories, until finally, the following year, he was gone. To another school, perhaps, or another state, or another country. I never knew. No one knew because no one noticed. No one had called him for months, but my phone rang. My weekends were filled with sleepovers and baseball games and bowling parties, bicycle races, and more new friends that I knew what to do with. But I did not trust one of them because I knew then that I was standing on sand and was only a yellow shirt and pair of pants away from the oak trees where the two Allens were still looking for four-leaf clovers. So, we finish up our story. We see this trait determined, right? We picked this out at the beginning. And we follow the trait, right? We revise our thinking. And we see that this trait transforms into ruthlessness. And we see that Will, in order to become popular, has to hurt someone else. And he does. Right? And that's the definition of ruthless. Now, in other stories, or with these other traits, they don't play such a big role. in this story, right? We don't, like his bitterness or immaturity, these things don't play much of a role, but determination, or being determined, envious, or clever, these play a role. All right, so what I want you to do now, open up your notebook. Okay, I want you to look at the traits that you picked out for your characters, and talk to your partner about the ones that you think might play an important role in the rest of the story. And I want you to do this. I want you to have this conversation before you go back to your desks and read today.
It's good. I think Kiki is determined, great as a